Welcome to day 64 of the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Do one thing every day to get what you want. Today, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today, we're going to talk about the superconscious mind. This is a little diagram. I got part of it from Bob Proctor, and part of it I added on my own to describe and talk about consciousness on different levels. Now, the superconscious, we talked about the conscious, and we're going to talk about either the conscious or the subconscious tomorrow. When it comes to our mind and our thoughts, 10% of the thoughts we think are conscious. 90% are subconscious, meaning on autopilot. And there's this debate over whether there is such a thing as a superconscious or not. I choose to believe that there is. And I'm going to read the definition because it's pretty interesting. A proposed aspect of mind to accompany the conscious and subconscious and or unconscious, able to acquire knowledge through non-physical or psychic mechanisms and pass that knowledge on to the conscious mind. So it transcends human consciousness. It's an awareness and a consciousness outside of ourselves, right? Our subconscious and our conscious. It's like above and beyond, which is why in the picture, I like to put it like a cloud in the sky, because it's out there all around us and we have the ability to tap into it. I'm going to share 7 ways that or 7 steps to tap into it, a process that you can use to tap into the superconscious. You may never have heard of this. I don't think I ever heard of the superconscious until I was probably in my 40s or 50s, maybe beyond. Well, not beyond, but it was probably my 40s or my late 40s, early 50s before I even knew that people thought about this, right? I was too busy living my life, raising my family, and things like that to actually think about what I was doing or think about my mind and how it works. The mind is really, really fascinating. Then I found another article yesterday. It was really interesting on different levels of consciousness or awareness. I'm just going to share that list, and then we'll hop into 5 steps to connect with your superconscious. And then our action item today is going to be to try that out. Try to tap into the superconscious about anything that you want, or superconsciousness for anything that you want, or a question that you have, or if you've got a problem that you're looking for a solution for. It's a great way to get outside of our own limited thinking, our own limited beliefs, and open ourselves up to the possibility of other things, other options, other solutions. This level of consciousness thing, I thought it was pretty interesting. It talks about our awareness, and it to me goes along with kind of the hierarchy of needs. Survival consciousness, relationship consciousness, self-esteem consciousness, transformational consciousness, internal cohesion consciousness, making a difference consciousness, service consciousness, and then full spectrum consciousness. And I would think that this is like an evolutionary development that human beings go through. All human beings won't go through all these evolutional consciousness levels, right? Some people will stay in survival mode their entire life. Others relationship, others transformation, self-esteem, internal cohesion. Some people will never achieve internal cohesion or making a difference. Some people will never care whether they make a difference in this life or not. Service and then full spectrum to me is like the ultimate personal development stage when it comes to our mind and consciousness. If you want to know where I am, I would have to think about it, but yeah. And we don't stay in one level of consciousness, right? We go up and down, back and forth, just like any process. We are moving and changing and growing and expanding and expanding and contracting all the time. That's the nature of being a human being. So what are the 5 steps that we can use to tap into this subconscious mind? Why would we even want to? Well, we want to, like I said, because it opens us up to so many other possibilities. It allows us to tap in to information and things that we don't necessarily have to experience ourselves, or that we don't have to spend a lot of time and energy trying to figure out, because we can tap into the experiences of other people. And I actually think that this works. I am kind of kicking myself today because I should actually use this a lot more often than I do. So this is a reminder to me as well that we don't have to rely just on the information we can gather ourselves. We can get help. And this is just one possible way of help. So 5 steps to connect with the superconscious. Number 1, you have to understand that the superconscious is infinite information, right? It's an infinite field of information. It's all the things, all the possibilities, anything that ever has been or ever could be out in the ether. Now, that's where this gets a little interesting. our universe, we don't understand how, and scientists do not understand how energy and our universe and everything works. We actually don't even know how electricity works. I mean, we know how we can use it and tap into it, but we don't know or understand the actual source of electricity. So it's like everything else. Everything is energy in quantum physics and in things like that. And I'm not going to talk about this because it's such a complicated subject. But if everything is energy, that means that all thoughts and things are energy, and they're out there somewhere in the ether. And what we're trying to do is tap into that ether so that we can create ideas and consciousness and the things that we want in our life. So how do we do that? Now, first, know that answers are available to all of us. They're out there for all of us if we're open and willing to asking questions and receiving answers. Secondly, we want to drop into our heart, and we want to come at tapping into the beyond in a positive way. And that comes from our heart and our positive intentions. At least that is what I say. I'm sure we can tap into the world of negative and the world of evil, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to ever recommend that anyone else does either. We're going to use direct communication, meaning we're going to ask for what we want, right? We're going to ask direct questions. We're not going to hem and haw and beat around the bush when we really want to know the answer to a specific thing. The more specific, the more clear, the better we can formulate our questions, the better answers that we'll get. I do that before I go to bed at night. And this is one of my ways for tapping into the superconscious, is through our dreams and through our sleep. I'll ask a question before I go to bed that I've been struggling with during the day, or that maybe for weeks or months or years, that I'm looking for an answer to. Because when I'm sleeping, I open myself up to the possibility of getting other answers, right? And maybe they come through dreams, maybe they come through an epiphany when I wake up in the morning, etc. The more direct my question is, the more clear I am with what it is I'm asking, the better opportunity I have to get the answer that I need. Number 4, we receive the message, we get a message, clear messages and guidance. And then we want to use the wisdom process, means we take what we hear, what we learn, we filter it through what we are trying to achieve, and we decide how to apply that. Kind of like the SOAP framework, right? We apply it to take action and then see if we're making progress for what we want or not. And just keep in mind that the ether, the superconscious, is available to everybody. It's just whether you believe it or not. If you believe it is, it's available to you. If you don't believe it is, it's not going to be available to you, because you're not going to let yourself follow this process even or tap into it. So our action item today, test this out today. See if you can ask a question of the superconscious and get an answer that you might not have come up with on your own or by just brainstorming, etc. All right, any questions about this? I hope I did a clear enough job explaining it. If you have any questions, hit me up. We could talk about it one-on-one or a little bit more, or I could share a little bit more about my personal experiences with this. Otherwise, that's it. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.